Hello, world, and welcome to the Quick Kick Picks presented by Burrows Talking Soccer. New format here. You can see Christian and myself. It is MLS Match Week 10.5. We're in between MLS Match Weeks 10 and 11. My name is Dave Canito. Christian, hello.
Hello, David.
You're looking very nice. You got on your big ass headphones.
Of course. I mean, it's like I'm doing the halftime interview at the Union games, you know. So
Exactly.
I thought I'd channel my inner Jim Curtin here.
Yes, I love the look. It is midweek, so we got the casual buttons down, sleeves rolled up. Let's jump right into things. Kicking things off, we have Atlanta United taking on Toronto FC Wednesday, May 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen in this one?
So, in my opinion, these are the two of the top three most talented teams in the Eastern Conference, probably. Atlanta have not started well, but they have incredible quality, and the last game they won 3-0 on the road in Kansas City, which is an incredible result for them. They're going to start catching fire, and beware rest of the East, because once they do, they're going to be a hard team to stop. Fortunately for everyone in the East, they have to come up against probably the most talented team right now, and probably the best team in the East. In Toronto, they have 4 points back from top spot, and they have 3 games in hand. So Really, it's in their hands right now. If they're able to beat this Atlanta team, they'll really just control their destiny. And I don't think anyone's really going to stop them from winning the East at this point. But you never know. There's a lot of talent, it seems, and it's a very competitive conference this year. So, in my opinion, I think this game is going to be a lot of goals. I don't think either team's defenses are very strong, but I'm predicting probably Atlanta wins this game 3-2 at home.
Interesting. So I have an Atlanta victory, but I have it being 2-1 here. I'm agreeing with you. This is the best matchup of the evening. Atlanta coming off 2 straight shutout wins, and they've won 3 out of their last 4. They're starting to heat up. Barco and Joseph Martinez are really starting to get things rolling. Unfortunately, Barco has left and is going to be with the Argentina U20s. And so for that reason, I'm saying Atlanta attack isn't going to be quite as explosive as it has been the last few weeks. That's why they only get 2 goals. And in agreement with you on Toronto, being one of the best sides in the East, but I think they ultimately lose here. They stumbled against Portland at home, but they bounced back with a 2-0 away victory. Pozuelo, incredibly influential, and he's incredibly important to them. I still have concerns about their forward production without Josie Altidore, and they've only gotten 2 shutouts on the season. And I think that's more due to Orlando's poor finishing last week than it really was to anything that Toronto did. And ultimately, Atlanta gets a 2-1 victory. Christian, anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Next match, we have the Columbus Crew taking on the LA Galaxy, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen in this one?
Well, talk about a team falling from on high here. Columbus is just in shambles all of a sudden, and they look like they were just going to be defensively stout throughout the entire year and grind out results. But since they've started coming up against more talented teams, they have had no answers, and they're conceding goals. They're not really creating, and I am very worried for this team that they might not even make the playoffs after starting as brightly as they did. On the other hand, LA just and I know they lost this past week in a high-scoring affair with the Red Bulls, who probably aren't that great of a team right now, but again have quality. And LA are just a force. And going to Columbus, I know it's going to be another road trip for them, and they were already in New York this past week, but it's still going to be too much. Ibra is an impossible force to stop, especially against this Columbus side right now. I think Columbus are pretty good defensively, but Ibra is a next level type of opponent that teams are going to have to play against, and they have no answer for that. I think LA come into Columbus this week and get a 2-1 result.
I'm in agreement with you on the 2-1 LA victory. Columbus lost 5 straight. Harrison Awful has been out for them, and that's been a huge loss. I think that kind of coincides.
Some might say it's awful.
Poor run of form. There you go. Yes, they would. More worrying, they're starting to concede a lot more goals. They give up 3 goals this past weekend after having one of the best defenses, to start the season. And also very worrying, they've only scored twice in their 5 straight losses. They're averaging 0.8 goals per game on the entire season. That is second worst behind FC Cincinnati. You don't really want to be by them in the rankings right now. LA Galaxy, they only lost their second match of the season this past weekend. Zlatan scored yet again. He's been fantastic overall. LA Galaxy have one of the best defenses in the league, but from the eye test, I still don't have a ton of confidence in them. I think they ultimately concede a goal, even though Peru's attack is not very good, but LA wins 2-1. Christian, anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Next match we have is the Chicago Fire hosting the New England Revolution at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen here?
I can only see a Chicago win here. I know neither of these teams are really in good form, but Chicago, I think, just have a more talented team overall. New England are a disaster of a team. They've started very well in Philadelphia this past weekend and had a 1-1 scoreline at the break. They really were creating chances, too, in that first half and were causing Philadelphia Union a lot of problems with their speed up front. But defensively, that team is an absolute mess. And I don't know what it's going to take. They're going to have to make a lot of trades and move a lot of people around because they do not have the quality right now inside their own team. They need to find the pieces externally and bring them in this next trading window, which I think is still open right now, right?
Until 5 p.m. tonight. So it closes tonight.
They need to make moves today if they really want to be challenging for the playoffs this year. But I still don't think, no matter what they do, it's going to happen. Chicago, they're able to score goals, but not really that consistently. They concede a lot of goals as well. I think this game is going to be probably 2-1 for Chicago, but neither team are really impressing me this year.
Yeah, I think New England needs to take a page out of what Chicago did last week against LAFC, and especially in the second half, they just buckled down defensively, and they didn't really have much going forward, but they were at least organized and made it really, really tough for LAFC to break them down. I think that's what New England needs to do. They need to abandon their defensive system that they've been using and just go all out defensive and fix some of those issues. Chicago, meanwhile, they drew 0-0 at LAFC, which is the highest scoring team in the league. That's something to hang their hats on. Also, was good to see Frankowski get back into the lineup. He was playing outside back, which was a little bit surprising. He was so effective on the wing offensively. I'm interested to see that experiment continue because I think they're better when he's on the pitch. New England, I'm not sure what the heck's going on with them. They've only scored more than one goal in 3 matches this season. They're 21st in the league in goals scored per game, 23rd in shots on target. They're not putting their opportunities on net. Ultimately, I see Chicago getting a 2-0 home victory here. Last match of the midweek matches, we have the New York Red Bulls taking on the Montreal Impact, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen here?
So I think Montreal had a pretty big slip-up at home in this last match where they lose 2-0, right?
Yes.
Yes. And the Red Bulls had a big result. I know they were at home against a team that was traveling pretty far distance, but they beat LA Galaxy, who really they won 7 of their last 8 up until that point, and really looked unbelievable in terms of just grinding out results and playing attractive soccer. So the Red Bulls showed that they can compete when they really want to, and it's time for them to step up and do that. Montreal, who are sitting third currently, I really don't rate them that highly. I mean, they have 16 goals against, which is one of the highest in the East. Their defense is leaky. They're able to score goals at times, but not really consistently enough. I think Piatti is the key for them to really be competitive in the East. I think Red Bulls, though, at home just have too much overall. They're starting to finally gel a little bit more together. Showing that they can beat LA is a huge result, especially that they were down twice in that game. To have the resolve to come back, that's huge. I think they keep riding those good feelings and that they get a 3-1 victory here at home.
All right, fair enough. New York Red Bulls are on a 2-game win streak, and it's the first time that they scored more than 2 goals in a game since March 16th, so it was almost 2 months before. So it's good signs from a New York Red Bulls perspective. They're starting to get the attack going again. BWP still struggling with a groin issue, and so, we'll see if he comes back and see if he can get going. And I really like Schikowski. I thought he was very impressive in CONCACAF Champions League play. I don't know if he was injured or if it was lineup decisions, why he hasn't been in the lineup quite as much, but I was encouraged to see him get back into the lineup. More of him is better for the New York Red Bulls. Montreal, again, lost 2-0 at home to NYCFC. I think what's struggling or what's an issue for Montreal is if they go down early, their entire game is predicated on not having possession of the ball, sitting back and counterattacking. even going down in the 6th minute, they ultimately had 46% possession in that match. So they were chasing the game for the majority of that game and still weren't dominating possession. It's not their game. Piatti being injured is a concern as well. And so for that reason, New York Red Bulls gets a 2-0 home victory. Christian, anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right. That is MLS Match Week 10.5. Go enjoy things. We'll be watching. Hopefully you will be as well. Let us know your predictions, and we'll talk to you soon. Christian, anything you want to add in closing?
Let's enjoy some midweek action here.
All right. See you, everyone.